Formula One drivers compete in some of the most best performing vehicles in the world. Off the track, they also sport high-performance, ultra-luxurious supercars that we can only dream of. So what unbelievable cars do F1 drivers cruise in? Let's find out. Let's start with Lewis Hamilton. The 7-time world champion has some of the most incredible cars you've ever seen. He is a long-time Mercedes man, but he isn't narrow-minded when it comes to his car choices. He owns 2/3 of the holy triumvirate of hypercars, the Ferrari LaFerrari and the McLaren P1. The only missing piece of this trinity is the Porsche 918 Spider. Hamilton also enjoys a muscle car, and he owns a Shelby Mustang and 2 unrestored original Shelby Cobras. Hamilton is currently on the waiting list for the Mercedes AMG Project 1 as well. He was one of the people who helped develop this ultra-exclusive hypercar, which is powered with Formula One powertrain tech made by Mercedes-Benz high-performance team in Brixworth. He'll be one of the first people to receive one alongside his old teammate Nico Rosberg. And as if the living legend ever wants to go off-road, he is well equipped thanks to the Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6x6. Not too bad for a guy whose first car was a Mini. Even with all these vehicles, for his daily errands he reportedly prefers to ride his motorbike. Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen owns one of the most badass private jets in Formula One. The 2021 World Champion's coolest purchase has to be his Dassault Falcon 900 EX jet, but he does have some amazing cars as well. He reportedly dropped a huge amount of money on the Porsche 911 GT3 RS after his first win at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. He also owns several Aston Martin models during the brand's partnership with Red Bull. He is also currently on the waiting list for the $3 million Valkyrie. This vehicle was designed by his Red Bull colleague Adrian Newey. Another cool vehicle in his garage is an ultra-exclusive Ferrari Monza SP2. By owning this, he joins an elite club that currently includes Gordon Ramsay and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Following suit with Lewis, his first car was a much more humble affair. When he passed his driving test at 18, he did so in a Renault Clio. Charles Leclerc made quite the stir at the Italian Grand Prix this year when he showed up in his own personalised Ferrari 488 Pista Spider. When we take a closer look at this vehicle, it also includes his signature embroidered between the seats. This means you definitely know it's his car. It has a racing number on the side and the Monaco flag running down the centre of the hood. He is also the proud owner of an old Ferrari SF90 Formula One car. This vehicle has huge sentimental value for him, as he won 2 races back-to-back in it in 2019. Sebastian Vettel. Much like his old friend Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel has a massive car collection. One of the most prized possessions has to be his Ferrari F40. This was once owned by the world's most famous opera singer, Pavarotti, so it has got some serious celebrity ownership clout. And as a former Ferrari F1 driver, naturally he has owned a whole stack of Ferraris. He sold the amazing F50, as well as a Ferrari Enzo and a LaFerrari at an auction last year. Unfortunately, these prices were not released. He is also the owner of several Formula One cars, including one of his own Red Bulls, and a Williams FW14B, which was driven by Nigel Mansell. The sad thing is that the Williams doesn't run at the moment, but Vettel has stated he would like to take it out onto the track and drive it. He also owns a sizable collection of motorbikes, which he does prefer to use for urban trips. For a routine drive around the city, Vettel has chosen an Aston Martin DBX. SUVs must be a theme in Seb's car history, as his first car was a BMW X3, which was given to him. He was also a BMW works driver at the time. Lando Norris. Norris is one of the fastest drivers in the F1 paddock, and his garage matches him. Being a McLaren driver, the young fan favourite naturally owns a few. He has also owned in the past a bright yellow Renault Megane RS, provided to him by McLaren's old powertrain partner. Much like his fellow Brit Lewis Hamilton, his first car was also a Mini. George Russell. Lewis Hamilton's new teammate is a Mercedes man through and through. He has shown off a couple of his AMG Mercs on social media. These include a grey GTR and a white C63 Coupe. With his new employers offering Russell a bigger paycheck than he's had before, perhaps he will invest in some new cars. After all, Mercedes does hold the crown of the most expensive car in the world. Valtteri Bottas. Near the end of his tenure with Mercedes, he received a very special version of the Mercedes AMG GT Black Series. His one as a replica of the black livery Mercedes used in 2020 and 2021. It is rumoured that this was a goodbye present to Valtteri from his old team. Before that, he did have a blue AMG GTS that he had to put up for sale to raise money for a karting venue in his hometown in Finland. Carlos Sainz. Up to very recently, he still drove a Volkswagen Golf. The Golf was a gift from his parents when he became legally allowed to drive on the road. However, that has changed with his move to Ferrari though. He now owns his own Ferrari road car. For some reason, he is very secretive about which exact model he owns, but Ferrari did upload this video to YouTube about it. When he was at McLaren, he did have a couple of McLaren road cars like his former teammate Norris. He had a 720S, and he also took delivery of a 600 LT Spider during his time at Woking. Both of these McLarens have very understated and unflashy specifications. His 720S was grey and his 600 LT was black. Fernando Alonso. One of the F1 legend's favourite cars might come as a surprise. Alonso loves the R35 Nissan GTR, and he's often been seen behind the wheel of his own personal one. He has also owned several Ferraris over the years, including a 599 GTB Fernando Alonso edition. This very special V12 Ferrari was created in celebration of him winning the British Grand Prix for Ferrari 60 years after they won the very first running of that race. An extremely limited number of them were made, and they regularly go for big bucks at auction. Alonso also has an enormous collection of racing cars. There is even a museum in Spain dedicated to his career called the Fernando Alonso Sports Complex. It is filled with hundreds of cars. Many of them belong to Alonso and include racing vehicles like his first pro go-kart to the F2 and F1 cars he has raced in his lengthy career. He also owns an Alpine A110 like his teammate Esteban Ocon. Daniel Ricciardo. The Australian has an affinity for the McLaren brand long before becoming one of its drivers. He bought an unspecified McLaren road car not long after he came into F1 and travelled to the McLaren Technology Centre to spec it out. This apparently caused a big kerfuffle at the time, as his presence at a rival team's base had to be kept very discreet. He has also been spotted in a blue McLaren 675 LT several years before he became an employee at Woking. He hasn't talked that much about what cars he currently has, although he has revealed that he currently owns a Ferrari 275 GTS. This is a very sought after classic and must have cost Danny Ricciardo a fair bit of his multi-million-dollar salary. We haven't seen Danny's, but here is a beautiful example of the Ferrari 275 GTS that was up for sale in Abu Dhabi. It has also been confirmed that he owns an Aston Martin V12 Vantage, a Porsche 911 GT3 RS, a Ford F-150, a Porsche 918 Spider, and a Vespa scooter. Much like his old teammate Max Verstappen, he is also reportedly on the waiting list for an Aston Martin Valkyrie. This is all a far cry from his earlier vehicles, which include a Toyota Hilux, a Fiat Punto, and a Volkswagen Golf GTI. Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly's choice of cars is one of the most underrated supercars you can currently buy. He owns a third generation Honda NSX, which was gifted to him by Honda's vice president. The Frenchman is often known for his quiet yet brilliant drives, so the understated nature of the NSX probably suits him quite well. He has also owned a Honda Civic Type R in the past. Lance Stroll. Apparently, he isn't a car guy at all, and prefers to do as little driving as possible away from the circuit. This is rather surprising, considering he is a racing driver and his dad Lawrence Stroll has a huge car collection. As a result of this, we don't really know what he drives. He is often seen driving Aston Martins, so it is very likely that he's got at least one sitting in the garage at home. However, he does make up for this by having a Bombardier Challenger 604 jet. So, what do you think about these vehicles? Which amazing cars have we missed off this list? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, click the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to get more updates like this one. And as always, Thank you very much for watching.